All right. Well, good morning, everybody. It is 10 on the dot. Welcome to Long's coffee break. My name is Lindsay Flater, and I'm a sales engineer here at Long. Today, we have Sterling Minter. He's the director of sales at Ducts and Cleats, and he's going to tell us why Pro R Duct should be your first choice. So I will let Sterling take it from here, and we'll go from there. Welcome, Sterling.
All right. Thank you, Lindsay. First of all, I want to thank everybody for taking 15 minutes out of your day here to kind of have a cup of coffee with us. So we're going to talk about Pro R, superior exterior duct for the long-term energy efficiency and durability. If I do my job right, you'll 100% agree with me. First, let me tell you a little bit about Ducts and Cleats. We are a union sheet metal contractor out of St. Paul, Minnesota. We fabricate everything from galvanized to stainless to custom to welded, you name it, we make it. We also have an ISO air purification system that we sell with a GPS and the ultraviolet light and the HEPA filters. They were very popular in 2020 and 21, of course. And then we have our Pro R division, which is a full fabrication of phenolic duct. In fact, it's the premier phenolic duct in the country today. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We are, as I said, a union manufacturer. We follow SMACTA standards for both phenolic and sheet metal. And so that's good to know. But one of the really important things is when the production time frames start really getting crunched with schools and such in the next couple months, we're able to take our galvanized group, move them over to our Pro R group, beef up production without losing any time frame or adding lead time too drastically. And then we can go to our hall and get additional guys that are trained on the galvanized. So that's one of the benefits there. What we do, we take the engineer drawing, and that's provided by Long. They tell us what they're looking for. Hopefully you've specified the Pro R product. But if not, other phenolic or double wall metal, depending on what's going to be exposed outside. We're going to take your drawing. We're going to prepare a 3D drawing to match it with the Pro R. We're going to provide that quote to our reps, who will provide it to the contractor. The reason that drawing is important, we live in the world of low bidder gets the job, and let's be honest, low bidder is the guy that missed the most. So we want to make sure that doesn't fall on the Pro R. So instead of saying as per plan and spec, we draw it out and say, hey, this is what we quoted. We ask for Long to let us know if we missed anything. We then ask the contractor to let us know if we missed anything. So we get a three-step checks and balances before we move into production. But once that's done, we provide an engineer submittal so the project can be approved as designed. We then provide a fabrication submittal for the contractor to verify and confirm every single piece. We complete the fabrication. We coordinate the shipping with the contractor. So engineer submittal is going to give the drawing to the engineer as well. It's going to detail the product, how it goes together. Then we're going to move into a fabrication submittal where we're going to detail every single piece for that contractor. We'll know the lengths, the ID, everything you need to verify every single piece so that the system goes together without a hitch. Then we complete the duct fabrication. We coordinate that shipping then with the installing contractor. We try to make sure they know when the product's coming, who we need to contact, who the trucker should call. We provide what training is necessary, although you'll see with Pro R, it's very minimal. But we do provide that, and we usually have excellent installations, and most do enjoy it. Now, what we are attacking is going after the insulated sheet metal, the old way. And I hate to say it, but within a couple of years, it's got a pretty much 100% failure rate. And the reason is, you'll learn later, has nothing to do with who's installing it, who's building it, and who's insulating it. But that system does require field insulation. It requires that field applied jacketing be put on it afterwards. It uses an open cell insulation most of the time. If you do nothing else out of this presentation, get rid of fiberglass. Insulation, if it's going to be outside exposed to the elements, it will always get wet. It will always absorb moisture. And then you've got mold and mildew. You've got thermal bridging at the joints, and it gets heavier and heavier. And so it requires more and more supports. So the added problems come when they're installing the jacketing. Oftentimes that jacket, if it's a thick, heavy gauge type metal, it gets screwed together, or plastic, it gets glued together, it gets sealant on it, has uninsulated flanges many times. It's often exposed or dependent on a lot of exposed sealant that then's going to break down from the elements and the ultraviolet rays. You get a lot of air gaps in the insulation because once the jacket's on it, Who knows? You get compressed insulation. We got bubble walking on the duct. It's going to make it worse. You get hidden damage under there. And you're dealing with two trades. So you have that coordination for the GC or the mechanical that has to take place. So these are some of the things we focus on. But the real issue is leakage. And this is why I say nobody's done anything wrong. If metal is installed as per SMACTA standards, it's a class 6 leak system. Means it's going to leak 6% per 1 inch static pressure per 100 square feet of duct. And it's very simple. It's basic science. And you're going to understand that if air gets out, water gets in. It's that simple. And so then we start to have issues. Adding insulation is how we've handled that in the past. But to be honest, that doesn't do any good. If you're not stopping the leakage, adding more insulation just is going to give you 3 inches of wet insulation instead of 2 inches of wet insulation. And that's where the problems really begin. And we're going to freeze up right now, Lindsay. There we go. Okay. So once you get that wet insulation, you start to have structural integrity issues. You start to have energy efficiency malfunctions because wet insulation is about 85% ineffective. Not to mention you're causing mold and mildew with that moisture inside. It's getting into the air stream. You've got corrosion. So the number one goal should be to stop that leakage. Now, what we're dealing with today is phenolic duct. ProR is made with phenolic duct, and there are several systems out there. They're all pretty good. They're all better than insulated metal. You've got a thermoduct system that's been around since about 2009, 2010. You've got other systems that are put together using phenolic duct, but they all begin with Kingspan Cool Duct. That is the only system in the US. There was a product called Q-Duct previously that Long carried. I actually carried that patent, but that product is no longer in the US. That was the only other phenolic. It was also made by Kingspan, but now that's a Middle East product and they concentrate on just Cool Duct. So Cool Duct is the only phenolic. If you specify a phenolic duct in the United States, they're starting with Kingspan Cool Duct. That being said, I've been working with Cool Duct since it came into the US for almost 20 years, helped set up the master distribution network, have been involved in the development of every phenolic system out there to some degree. So I know the product lines well, and I can tell you ProR has maximized the benefits of all the others and created a few other benefits. We start with that Cool Duct board. It's a rigid, high-performance phenolic panel. Has a 0.14% absorption after 24 hours. What does that mean? Okay, if water gets in the jacketing, it's only going to absorb 0.14%, unlike your fiberglass that's open cell, or even an Armorflex. It's going to absorb it tremendously. It is fiber-free and odorless core. It's sandwiched between 2 aluminum sheets. So virtually every phenolic system on the market is a double-wall duct system, regardless of what the external jacket is. There are 3 basic R values or thicknesses of the Cool Duct board. R6 is 22 millimeter. That's primarily going to be inside. R8 in some zones for exterior and interior, 30 millimeters. And then R12, which is primarily what's being used externally. That's a 45 millimeter board. However, we do go to higher R values. And as you might imagine, if you were to require a higher R value, we're going to be doubling up some of these boards. So we might put an R8 and an R12 to get an R20, depending on the location. The key component of the Cool Duct board is that it meets ASTM E84-2550. It is a UL listed duct system, not just the panel. The panel is not UL listed. The system, when you build it into an air duct, it is UL listed class 3 air duct system. But main thing is it won't smoke, it won't burn. So it can be used inside the building envelope. It can be used exterior, doesn't matter. There's other systems. If any of you went to Chicago and saw ASHRAE, you might have seen some systems that say, hey, we meet UL. That's different. Meeting UL is not the same as UL listed. UL listed means you were actually tested by UL. Now, one of the offerings that we have 4 basic offerings. 95% of the time, it's going to be ProR rectangle. That's our primary exterior system. We also have a ProR round system. We have a ProR indoor system where we don't put the external jacket, but we beef it up for higher pressure classes than what Cool Duct was designed for. And then we have ProR specialty. ProR specialty means it's probably a food grade or a heavy chemical exhaust, and you want a stainless steel liner because of a wet wash or something constant that's going to take place. So We provide that 95% rule. If it can be done with insulated metal, you can do it with the Pro R. Now, what makes Pro R so unique? We use an 040 embossed Kynar finish aluminum as our jacketing. That's the same aluminum that would be used on a metal roof. The manufacturer provides a 20-year warranty on that metal. We provide a 10-year warranty on our Pro R system. Ours is the only system that is built using 2 duct systems. So first we build cool duct per the SMACNA standards ANSI 22 for phenolic duct fabrication. In fact, we are the only phenolic duct system that follows the SMACNA standard ANSI 22 prior to assembling our jacket to it. Then we build a metal duct per SMACNA metal standards with Pittsburgh seams, and we build that around the cool duct. So it's a double duct system. It's got integrated 4-bolt flanges so that the flanges coil and roll up into, or the jacket rolls up into the flange, so there are no seams. We then use a double gasket, a neoprene, and a butyl, and we have a double locking Pittsburgh seam on our corners. It's not just glued or bent together there. It's very durable, can withstand a lot of weight. That's 800 pounds standing on that duct. And give you a little video, give you an idea of how durable it is. I'm not the strongest guy in the world, but I can hit a duct pretty hard with a 2x4. And you know Bubba's going to walk on the duct. So here, even when I crack it with just the point of the board, all it does is put a dimple in that board. Doesn't crack it, doesn't break it. There's no penetrations to the external jacket anywhere on that system. We have multiple color options. We have 4 stock colors: white, almond, Sierra tan, and gray. These are colors that we keep the coil lines in our shop all the time. If going into production tomorrow, you decide you don't want white, you want Sierra tan, no big deal, no lead time effect, no cost effect. The other colors are more custom. We need to know in advance, or it could add lead time, or it could add cost. We provide the Pro R duct detail, one of the key components to our being able to reduce our leakage to less than 1%. So if you reduce standard metal, if you remember, I said 6%. If you reduce down to 1%, just that leakage reduction alone is about a 60% energy savings using your SMACNA and ASHRAE formulas based on the weather and the location you're at. We do that with our double gasket, with our double duct system, and the fact that we have no penetrations to our external jacket. We want to keep that no penetrations, so our duct supports fully encase the duct. They do not get screwed into the duct as the way it is with metal, which just creates more leakage points. So that's pretty much your Pro R system in a nutshell. It is an innovative solution to exterior ductwork, and I believe you'll find it to be the best system on the market today, and it will overcome the challenges that we have and provide solutions for that. So in conclusion, I'm going to turn this back over to Lindsay. I believe she's got some prizes here she wants to award to some lucky winners. So
thanks so much. Thanks, Sterling. Appreciate it. And if anybody has any questions, please reach out to your Long sales rep and they can help you get more information. And next week, please join us with Devin Gash and Lucas Vieira for your kitchen exhaust solutions from Halton. Everybody, thank you so much for joining and have a great Thursday. Sterling, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day and a great weekend.
Bye.